Hello. Good evening. Oh, kind of need a light for that one, I guess, huh? There we go. A little bit better. Welcome. This is Savage Squishy 86, and we are here to enjoy, hopefully enjoy, one of my favorite all-time Soulsborne games, Bloodborne. I attempted to play this short time ago in the past, but unfortunately it just did not really couldn't really keep consistent. As you can tell, I have not streamed for a while, so this is probably one of my few instances where I have streamed. Hopefully the connection will be stable enough to where I can, because as you know, Wi-Fi is not really dependable, but hopefully in the future that will change. That being said, here we are. Now, yeah, I've got a lot of games that I want to play, but I've been meaning and really wanting to get back to playing this, and largely because I know there's a huge clientele that really enjoys the Soulsborne games, and I got a few people who actually were like egging me to, play Bloodborne. So I decided, okay, well, I'll go ahead and do it and give it a spin. Um, that being said, bear with me a minute here. I'm checking my Twitch right now. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's. I got it on YouTube, but I don't know if it's doing on Twitch yet. I have joined with Twitch. I haven't really gotten really fully in tune to it because I'm still relatively new. Eventually, in the latter future, I plan to make the jump to Steam and do PC gaming. I'm very new to that dynamic, so hopefully it'll take off. So that is initially my purview, but so far that's what we're going to shoot for. So, what is Bloodborne? Well, basically, Bloodborne, as you all know, is a game of the Soulsborne franchise. Very difficult franchise, reputable for its crushing, punishing difficulty of gameplay mechanics, but ultimately it's one of my favorites. That being said, we're pretty much going to be going along with it in that regard. I'm going to pursue every possible secret, every weapon, every story arc, and every ending. So this is probably going to take me probably one of the longest playthroughs I have ever done. So with any luck, hopefully, I say that loose. I use that term loosely. Hopefully, we will be able to do a consistent run through. Now, there are a few things I do want to cover. I will not cover all the Chalice dungeons because it's going to be really mostly grind work, which I'm going to need to play hours and hours and hours of it to get the necessary number of blood echoes, the currency to level up your character. So that will take a profoundly long time. So I'm not going to put you all through that in terms of watching me play this for hours on end, particularly when I'm not streaming. Second, in instances of sequences separated by battles, I will only play within certain merits, but I will always return to the initial point where I stopped the stream. So if I, per se, stop the stream where I reached a certain area and I decide to continue on off stream, I will, but I will always return to the area to negate that. Again, much like I said with the covering certain chalice dungeons, in this instance we in gaming call it farming. I will not cover the gameplay instances when I am farming, because again, that's hours and hours of gameplay that I will not, I want to minimize the gameplay content as much as possible, largely just because of that reason. I don't want to make it like, taking this one little thing and then dragging it out for this long. I don't want to do that. Yeah, because that can be pretty boring. So, what am I going to basically go about doing is basically getting all three endings, because there's three endings in this game that you can get. I will cover every story arc and quest arc particularly. I have not played this in a very long time, but hopefully I am not too rusty. A few things that as the game goes on, I will explain certain mechanics and certain strategies, certain sequences, outfits and armor that would benefit you and make it easier for certain boss fights, because there are a lot of tough bosses. Bloodborne, much like every other Souls game, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, they all have they're bursting at the seams with really difficult boss fights. so you'll find it quite amusing and entertaining because I'm almost certainly going to die a lot. But it is definitely one of the funner experiencing games, provided you have the patience and the discipline to learn it. I also want to add that I've also started playing the Demon Souls of PlayStation 5. In fact, I'm actually on a PlayStation 5 with Bloodborne. And I was not really keen to try Demon Souls or Dark Souls games, but somebody convinced me to give it a shot, and it is quite good. I'm still learning. It's very overwhelming, especially with the content and the environmental factors, but it's definitely a learning curve. I'm definitely enjoying it, but a friend said it best: if you can play Bloodborne, you can play Demon Souls, because in his mind, Bloodborne is one of the hardest games out there, second only to Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice, another Soulsborne game from the Soul series. Have not played that. Don't think I will play that because I've heard horror stories about that, but I will at least give a measurable effort to delivering on that. So enough of my yapping. We're going to get into this right now, and we're going to go ahead and slay some monsters. I think that's probably the biggest thing I like about this game is the fact that you actually are. I kind of really am hoping someday they'll make a Bloodborne 2, or at least remaster this beauty and put it on PS5, because it is such a great game. I think it's something that I don't think gets enough credit. A lot of people still play it to this day. So, but yeah, let's off. I do apologize for being away so long. I'm not very consistent with my play style and my time here, so hopefully that'll make up for that. So, as you can see, I did a complete reset of the system because I really wanted to do a full-fledged brand new game, and I just think that that is something that I probably want to do just to see if I still have the polish of my talent to really play this. So let's launch it.
Oh, yeah. Pale blood. Well, you've come to the right place. Yharnam is the home of blood ministration. You need only unravel its mystery.
I will explain the story as we go along, as best I can.
An outsider like yourself to begin.
Very loosely based.
Easy, with a bit of Yharnam blood of your own. But first, you'll need a contract.
So basically, here's the scope of the story. The story is basically there is a city called Yharnam. A city of Yharnam is basically like a very churchy kind of setting, very medieval Victorian style, but slightly with a very kind of I guess you would say gaslight. Gaslight. I think that's a gothic, kind of era, but it's got a very kind of steampunk style. And basically what it is it's a city that is basically gifted with blood administration, which is a form of medicinal treatment involving blood. As I understand it, if I can recall the story right, you can treat all manner of illnesses and all manner of longevity and health issues with blood administration, which is used by the Church of yeah, I don't really. I have to really kind of have a refresher. It's been a while since I played this, but basically there's monsters everywhere. It's downside of using this blood administration. People turn into beasts, and basically the night of the hunt is when people basically lock up shop and stay indoors while people are out hunting beasts and monsters on the streets of Yharnam. So this guy apparently has come here to, I guess, heal or maybe get a sense of understanding of his illness, uh, but he's going to need to get a contract to ultimately get out there and get some answers. So we are a sense, basically a early infancy of a hunter. So we're going to go ahead and give him a name. And I'm a big fan of this, so I'm going to give him the name Gabriel Belmont, because it gives me vibes. This game gives me vibes of the old Castlevania series. If you don't know who Gabriel Belmont is, he is the precursor who would later become Dracula. So, of course, I'll make him a male. He will be young. I kind of like to make, well, actually, yeah, I'll give him a mature look. And voice. Yeah, I kind of like that voice more. Now these are all pre-skinned versions I have made. You know, I've got some unique characters that I've made. So obviously we got three. I like to keep it even Stevens, so we do for 4 females and 4 males. So here we have. This is my original one that I was using. Then this one was like another one. This one has to be one of my. Yeah, so I got a huge itinerary of them, but I'm going to change this. I'm going to go with this one. But I'm definitely going to change his hair because now, as you can see, I've cut my hair. So I'm going to change his hair. Let's see here. I am definitely not going for one of those preppy looking studly kind of hairstyles. This is probably I'll run with. So, and I think we'll go with. You know, I'm a bit of a try hard, so I like to have a little bit of a challenge. So we could do mild crest, ordinary, happy upbringing with all attributes, lone survivor. Basically, these will dictate, you know, much like any Soulsborne game, the beginning start of your skills. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one, a waste of skin, just because I like to have a little bit of an element of challenge. So, in that particular instance, we're gonna go ahead and, yeah, that's our boy. I am gonna do one. Well, there's one thing I am gonna do. I'm gonna change his build. I want to make him a little early because I think I've always felt that they really make these guys too pencily in their design, and I'm like thinking to myself, oh, gee, I don't know if I really want to go with that. So, but that is pretty much what we got, and that is what we're going to run with. So we'll go ahead and finish and finalize the contract. Now, once you finalize it, this will basically be your character. You cannot go back and edit this. You cannot change this. So if you're going to do it, make sure you do it right the first time, look-wise, name-wise, etc. Otherwise, you'll have to delete it and start a new character, or you can just start a new character and keep it and come back as a, practice one. So go to it. There is a lot of weapons in various styles and forms, and they all serve a unique talent or style of play. So I will go with my traditional style, which I will also explain as we get further in. I think once I get further in the game and it explains it to me a little more,
Good.
it starts to come
All
back.
signed and sealed.
Repetition, memory. So we'll go
Now,
ahead and
let's begin the transfusion. Oh, don't you worry. Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad dream.
Now, it's important that you take notice of this because a lot of this is going to become relevant for the endings in particular. So when you think about bad dream, there's an important dynamic to that because there's a very kind of intertwined theorem surrounding blood administration. In a way, it kind of creates a sense of delirium or hallucinations. So, but as you can see, he's already hallucinating with the blood transfusion being done. And here we have our first werewolf. And then we got our little ghoulie friends. Now, these guys are a little creepy, but I think they're actually kind of cool in their own way. Messengers, these are basically called the messengers, and they basically are friends of you that help you on your hunt, on your journey. It's hard to believe because they look like they're not friendly at all.
Ah, you found yourself a hunter.
So now we're gonna wake up Obviously, the creepy old man is going to be gone, so that's going to be a foregone conclusion. So right away, we're just going to hit the ground running. So now, once you open up your inventory, you will find you have no weapons, you have nothing of any kind. You are as bare bones as it comes. So over here, you'll find your first note, a handwritten scroll: "Seek pale blood to transcend the hunt." This is going to be relevant to the story and also relevant to the endings. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for pale blood. There are certain players who will leave notes. You can vote them in a positive context. And ironically, the votes, if you are positive, they will send a boost of health to them to save their neck. So I try to send as many good votes as I possibly can, provided they're helpful. If they're just nonsense and trolling notes, I always downvote them because they're trash and I hate them. So, but we're gonna head downstairs here, and we'll obviously check a few of these notes. Right-handed attacks with the R1 button. Basically, you get the judo chop. R3 will lock on, so you got a lock on button that'll help you keep track of your targets when you're fighting. Might want to make it a little brighter so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. That's a little better. Now, right away, you're going to have your first encounter with a werewolf, which is going to be right here. Now, in typical Bloodborne style, players will ultimately die in this sequence, sometimes more often than others. But in this particular instance, I'm going to try to kill this werewolf with my bare hands. And the best way to do that is with a backstab. Now, a backstab is basically similar to a visceral attack, which is from the front. Instantly kills most enemies if you can do it. It basically involves attacking the enemy before they can attack you. So, if you have a gun, which you will get one, you'll be able to shoot them and stun them, and then finish them off with an instant kill move, like the visceral attack. A backstab is basically a visceral attack, but you approach from the back and immediately just instantly kill them like that. But again, this is basically if you can get behind them. I will not be able to get behind him traditionally, so I'll have to dodge around him. So I'm going to see if I can do that and I'll be able to kill a werewolf with my bare hands here. So let's see. Like that. And bam! Gotcha! And there is my first attack. Blood vials you will get, they replenish your health. So they will be handy in the encounters to come. So 2 blood vials here on the left, and then going out into the street here. The doors. And out we go. Now, there are a few things I am not going to grab here because I don't want to... I can go to the dream and get more supplies first, but if I get these here, they'll be it'll be a wash. So I'll be able to get more if I don't grab it now. So I will go ahead and proceed to the... Now, as soon as you come out of the gates here, you're gonna come up here, and there's gonna be a crazy villager. Basically, they're gonna have villagers like these guys walking the streets thinking they're gonna do the hunting, but they blame you. As you can see, it's kind of sketchy I'm gonna try to get a backstab on this guy if I can. But it's a little trickier, because... I don't know if I'm going to be successful doing this. Yep, I got him. Wow. So, the villagers are basically subject to this disease. They're actually also have taken blood administration. But as you can see, it's not gone over too well. So, once we pull the switch, grab the blood vials off the corpse, pull the switch, then climb up the ladder. You can hold the circle button, you go up faster. But be very careful, because the fall from here will kill you. and then go ahead and here's a lamp. We're going to light this lamp. The lamp will take us to the hunter's dream. Go ahead and talk to this guy here.
Oh, you must be a hunter. And not one from around here either. I'm Gilbert. You must have had a fine time of it. Yarnum has a special way of treating guests. Well, I don't think I could stand if I wanted to, but I'm willing to help if there's any. This town is cursed. Whatever your reasons might be, you should plan a swift exit. Whatever can be gained from this place, it will do more harm than good.
So basically we have our first quest line, which is Gilbert's quest line, which we will get a couple things from him as the story goes on. So you want to make a point to revisit certain key people at certain points in the quest lines, particularly through the game. I cannot really say when they are exactly, but I am sure it'll come back to me with time. So as each playthrough continues, follow along and I will do what I can to hopefully get the quest lines opened effectively. So
Pale blood, you say? Never heard of it. But if it's blood you're interested in, you should try the Healing Church.
The Healing Church, that's what it's called.
The church controls all knowledge on blood ministration and all varieties of blood. Across the valley to the east of Yarnum lies the town of the Healing Church, known as the Cathedral Ward.
That place right there.
And deep within Cathedral Ward is the old Grand Cathedral, the birthplace of the Healing Church's special blood, or so they say. Yarnumites don't share much with outsiders. Normally they wouldn't let you near the place, but the hunt is on tonight. This might be your chance.
So we have to go to the Healing Church, which is right across from there. That's our main quest, our main goal right now. So, but before we get further into that, we need weapons. So, take the lantern and port yourself to the Hunter's Dream. Now, the relevancy of the dream thing that the old man was talking about was the fact that basically, in the sense, this place is kind of caught in like a dream loop. It's how the hunt continues so long and so often, and it's also why hunters are able to come to this kind of ethereal kind of place, get stronger, and to continue the hunt. It's all kind of like in a closed loop, I guess you would say. So they need hunters, so they keep them coming here, but they want the hunt to continue because they need it to continue so that they can keep tangling with the blood ministration. Something to that effect. So hopefully I'm not too off base, but yeah, this is basically the hunter's dream. This is where all the hunters come to get stronger and to heal. If they die in the real world, they come here. So it constantly is like a birth, death, repeat kind of sequence. And basically this is where it always comes down to. So the doll is signature because she's going to help you get more power. She's not animated right now because we have no insight. Now, insight is basically the magical, arcane knowledge of what you get as you kill monsters. The more insight you have, the more crazier you get, but the more you can see things as they really are. Far be it removed from the sequence of real world. So, the doll will be important later on, but we don't have any insight, so we can't talk to her right now. Over here, you'll have 3 options of weapons. One trick weapon, choose one trick weapon. There's a right-handed, so this is weapons you'll be carrying with your right hand. So here we have a saw cleaver. One of the trick weapons of the workshop, commonly used for hunting beasts. Now, the unique thing about this is that there are 3 forms of there's 4 forms of damage in the game, particularly. There is physical damage, which correlates into 3 departments. One is thrust, blunt, and serrated damage. Now, serrated damage is basically strictly for beasts. This is important. If you're facing animal monsters with a lot of hair, like werewolves or beast patients or stuff like that, they're going to correlate with serrated damage, which means serrated weapons like the cleaver will do more damage. However, because it is a serrated weapon, we're going to get one later on that's actually going to be better than this, because the only way you can use the serrated damage on the cleaver is mainly when it's in its saw form. The cleaver form nullifies that, and we're going to be encountering a few beasts. So we're going to negate from getting this, but basically this is a good weapon for starting players, if not probably a very popular one. It doesn't really do much else beyond that, but that's pretty much that. It's good for a lot of good crowd control weapons, and it's really, really good with chopping fighting games. Oh, thank you, Lily. I didn't know you were watching. Hi, hon. It's a pleasure to see you. I just got your message. Thank you. Hunter Axe is a great weapon for blunt and also good crowd control. This weapon is mainly geared for strong offensive style fighting. I particularly like it, but for me, I really personally like weapons with skill. This is more based with, as you can see over here, you have the main stats of strength, skill, endurance, vitality, blood tinge, and arcane. Skill weapons are more my speed. It doesn't really, they're more fluid, they're faster, and I like them more. But me, I'm going to go with the threaded cane. Now, the threaded cane is a very good weapon. It's also good for crowd control. Most of these weapons are good for crowd control, especially from these three. But this one is very unique because it is the benefits of actually having good combos, particularly if you're transforming in and out. Now, the unique thing about the threaded cane is it works as a sword, but in its transformed state, it turns into a bladed whip. The unique thing about the bladed whip is the fact that it does serrated damage, which actually improves the chances of you actually killing a monster relatively good, especially if we're talking werewolves and such. So we're going to go with the threaded cane, which is basically going to be our right-handed weapon. Now, you'll have to manually equip these as you go. Otherwise, you won't really have the measure of actually doing that. Over here, we got two options. We got a hunter pistol. We got a blunderbuss. Now, typically, I would go with the hunter pistol because it is so good in its scale. But I also really prefer the blunderbuss. I think the only reason why I'm going to go with the pistol is because we get the added benefit of the blood attack, which is basically 70 over the 20 of the blunderbuss. The blunderbuss, you have to be really close. In a way, the blunderbuss is a very colonial style shotgun. That's the best way I can describe it. Much like the pistol, which is a flintlock pistol, we got a flintlock shotgun. So we're going to go with the pistol, though, because I don't really have good crowd control skills. That's why I got the threaded cane. So we'll get more precise action with the pistol versus the blunderbuss. I'm not looking to get close. Not yet. I'm not strong enough to do close quarters. So we're going to go with that. Go ahead and equip that and go from there. And then over here, we're going to get the messenger notebook. Now, the unique thing about the messenger notebook is I keep doing that with the motion active. Now, the cool thing about the messenger notebook is this is what's going to come in handy with leaving notes for other players. If you get a strategy or you find a point, you can actually crack it open. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I unequipped it. Damn. Oops. Well, actually, we don't want to do that anyway. Up here is where we want. When we do the touchpad, this is basically what you want to put your notes. So, right here, we're going to go ahead and pull it out. Now, basically, what you can do here is you can leave all manner of notes. You can write a note, remember to use this, beware there's monsters ahead. Basically, you can give players a direct or a sort of a tip or a warning. You know, like, hey, look. Listen, there's a threat that's further ahead that's going to be really strong. So unless you're ready, you better turn back. Or if you find a secret area, you like wondrous secret area, and you can make a gesture of them pointing in the right direction. I will eventually use this in the future, but I'm not going to use it now because there's nothing really to be gained from using it here in the Hunter's Dream. So inside we'll go, and we will find German.
Aha! You must be the new hunter. Welcome to the Hunter's Dream. This will be your home for now. I am Gehrman, friend to you hunters. You're sure to be in a fine haze about now, but don't think too hard about all of this. You know, it's just what hunters do. You'll get used to it.
Now, basically, Gurman is basically kind of a... I wouldn't even say he's like a mentor, but basically he is a watcher of the dream. I guess he guards the dream. But don't be fooled by his look. He's actually very damn strong. So...
This was once a safe haven for hunters. A workshop where hunters used blood to enhance their weapons and flesh. We don't have as many tools as we once did, but you're welcome to use whatever you find. Even the dog, should it please you.
It's a little creepy how he says that, because it sounds very adulterous, but I don't really think too much about that. In the backpack here, you will find a note on the ground. To escape the dreadful hunter's dream, halt the source of the spreading of the scourge of beasts, lest the night carry on forever. So, for us to escape this, we have to halt the spread of the dream. And to do that, we need to find the thing that's causing the dream, and continuing that. So, it's all a very tapestry and a very kind of interwoven story, but we will get around to fully exploring it in scope. So the echoes you see, these are other players in the game. The bloods you see on the thing are actually players who died. So certain instances you'll see them a lot, especially if you're playing online, and of course he just died, so we basically get echoes. These are actually other players who actually have died or are going to die or have died. So we're going to go ahead and head to the first floor sick room. These are all ports of entry where you can teleport in the game, so this is definitely going to be our first one. This is where we started, which is going to open up another quest line for us. Okay. So, here we are, basically back in the little clinic that we started in, and instead of going forward, we're going to go back up the stairs. Now, the room we were in is now closed, and this is the first quest line with...
Are you...
Yosefka.
Out on the hunt? Then I'm very sorry, but I cannot open this door. I am Yosefka. The patients here in my clinic must not be exposed to infection. I know that you hunt for us, for our town, but I'm sorry. Please. This is all that I can do. Now, go. And good hunting.
Now, pretty much Yosefka will become a relevant character for later in the game. Right now, she isn't really too relevant, but in the future, the quest line with her will turn dark. I will give you fair warning, a lot of your quest lines are going to be very disappointing because there are no happy endings in Bloodborne. You'll find that firsthand. And it's really kind of unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the monster. But that being said, we're going to head outside now. You can hold the circle button and you can run a lot faster. So now, before we get further in, I'm going to show you that this is basically the threaded cane, but this is when you press the L1 button and you transform it into the whip. Now, the unique thing is you can press L1 on and off in between combo sequences to change up your combos. So now, it's very unique how you do it. Obviously, I can't really do too much because my stamina bar is the green bar, and it burns through pretty fast with combos. So I have to really kind of do it with measure. But as you get more blood echoes in the game, you will actually be able to get more stronger. So here we have to search the body, and here we have our next 10 bullets. Now, as you can see, that's the reason why I got the 10 initially, because I didn't really want to jump too far ahead. So here we have a gate, but it's closed on the other side, and there's a gate on the other, and there's a switch on the other side, so we need to really kind of go about doing that. We'll actually come back to this area later. By heading outside here into central Yarnum, head down the steps to the left and you'll find more blood vials. And then basically we just go about the process of getting to where we gotta go. So now I'm going to show you how to do the visceral attack. So he's going to rush me. And And you want to do it the timing just right so you can shoot them. Just like that, and then bam! Instant kill. Now this is very important to learn, because it'll be very pivotal to facing really, really strong enemies. Your visceral attack is one of the most powerful attacks you can do in the game. You can get master that. There's a proprietary of enemies you will be able to kill with relative ease. Charge attacks, you hold the R2 button to give an extra hard thrusting weapon. Molotov cocktails, these are handy for weapons as against beasts, so werewolves, man-eating pigs, crows, to name a few. They're also very handy against enemies who are covered in oil, which is also very beneficial, especially if you have them in numbers. You can kill a large number of them at one time. But we're going to save those because they're going to be important for the boss fight in the future. Now, up here again, where Gilbert is, over here on the left, we'll find that there's a gate also locked from the other side. The switch is right there. I don't know if you can... No, actually, you can't see a switch. Actually, you got to open it from the other side. What am I talking about a switch for? The best weapon, Lily, is... it all depends on your playstyle, dear. There's a huge number of weapons. There are some that are geared for firepower. There are some that are geared for strength. There are some that are geared for crowd control. It's really not really a matter of what's the best weapon. I think it's just a weapon that suits your playstyle. But there are some weapons that work better for certain enemies and certain bosses that others don't really work too well with. So for a lot of beasts, it's usually going to be a serrated weapon like the saw spear, the saw cleaver, the threaded cane, the whirly gig saw. These are all weapons that we don't have yet, but these are weapons we'll acquire in the future. But then there are also two types of enemies. There are beast enemies, and then there are I forget the other term, ethereal enemies, I think. So I have to really do my research a little bit more. I actually haven't read it up on a while, but these are pretty much the most basic and generic types of enemies. Villagers are pretty much the early infancies of what you're going to encounter, but as the game goes further deeper, you'll find more and more stronger enemies. So I will definitely show you some of my personal favorites. I know the threaded cane is definitely in them, so I would go with the threaded cane. Skill is really my cup of tea. I've always felt that you know, skill-based weapons are much more powerful. I mean, but again, it depends on your build, because it is an RPG game, and RPG games kind of do go dynamically opposed. Now, because we are so weak in this game, we're not going to take on huge crowded enemies like this. We got to be slow and strategic. They will not hear you if you walk. But you want to be strategist. You want to be strategy-wise, and you want to take your time. As you can see, that was pretty much a semi-decent contingent. So another trick we're going to learn is pressing up on the D-pad will allow you to sacrifice some of your health to get 5 extra shots for your pistol. Now, I typically normally do this because of the fact that you can only carry 20 rounds at a time. But with this trick, you can carry 25 rounds at a time, which will enable me to have that much more of a benefit. So, over here we're going to have a gate switch. I'm going to pull that, and this will open up the gate here, which gives us a shortcut. So we don't have to really worry about going all the way around like we just did. You're going to find a lot of avenues where shortcuts are inevitable. Now over there is a really powerful monster, an executioner. We are not strong enough to fight him yet, so we're going to continue on until we get better gear, really get better time to get ourselves ready to fight him. Like I said, you're going to do a little bit of farming in this area. If you're a new player, you're going to farm this area a lot for blood echoes and powers. Aiming the gun is really kind of not really so much in the way of aiming. There's not really a lot of aiming. Again, the gun isn't really made. That's the thing I stress. can't really use the gun in a sense where you can shoot all enemies. There is an item that you can use to use it as a sort of aiming system, but there's no real aiming to the gun. It's pretty much whatever way you're facing. There is no issue with the gun in terms of aiming, because there is really no aiming. It's pretty much a fixed fighting, a fixed shooting pattern. So it's pretty much one of those sequences. So, but you will encounter enemies that do have guns, like this one. He has a rifle. If I had walked past him, he would have got up and shot at me. And bam. So as you can see, if you lock on them, the gun will shoot them anyway, but it's pretty much predominantly already a fixed style of fighting, so. Using the gun is pretty fixed, so I mean, but there are other guns in the future. You'll get a cannon in the future, you'll get a Gatling gun in the future, but these are weapons that are very powerful, but they use a lot of Quicksilver bullets. So you only really have the measure of actually getting the most out of it. Yeah, the sword is pretty good. It's very handy for a first-time player. Here we'll find some Molotov cocktails. Now, as you knock on some of the doors, you'll see some of the people talking.
Are you that outsider? Well, sorry, but I don't want anything to do with you. Trot along, will ya?
So a lot of people are basically closed up. They're not coming out. If you try to get them, you knock on the doors, they tend to like be very kind of crass and belligerent. You know, get out of here.
Lads, you've come on. You'd open the door on a night of the hunt. Away with you now.
They're basically scared, and I get it, but you don't have to be such a tryhard about it. So going back along this path like we're gonna find that there's a huge collection of people. Now, we cannot face that numbers right now in terms of volume, so we need to really find a way to either go around them or lure them away in small groups to get the most out of taking them down. There we go. Bang. A Bloodstone Shard is basically a spell enchantment which we will use to upgrade our weapons and our gear. So we're going to go ahead and get that. And here we'll have an ambush. You want to be careful as you're proceeding with some sequences, because you'll find instances where you'll have enemies trying to ambush you like that. Which we were ready, thank goodness. Now proceeding along this path, we will find there are some enemies over here, which we will take advantage and go slow. But we will be ambushed as well by these guys who apparently saw us. And that's really what you want to do. You want to make sure you do as much as you can in terms of grouping. You want to break them up into groups and take them down. Yes, there are very big bosses, you'll find it. And you want to be slow about it, because if you go too fast, you'll get killed easily. Bosses, yes, you'll encounter a lot of nasty bosses. In fact, the first boss you encounter is called the Clara Feast, which is very exciting. I think it's one of my favorite bosses to fight. I always like to play with them. But there are also actually harder bosses that are worse than others. Some that are just incredibly strong and dangerous. I think the worst two bosses for me, three bosses I have to say are probably the worst for me. One is Ludwig the Accursed, the Blood-Starved Beast, and the Orphan of Kos. Those are some of the worst bosses that you could face in this game, and the most powerful. So we want to break off, get their attention, and make them follow us. I want to get as far away as possible because I don't want to get shot by that guy on top of the carriage. So we're gonna run, head up the stairs, or circle around. Oh! There you go. So, there you have it. I died. Fortunately, but that's one of the things you're going to have a lot of. You're going to die a lot, and I stress that. If you're a new-time player to a Soulsborne game, I stress that. Be patient. Very patient, because you're going to die a lot. This game is not for the faint of heart, but it's fun when you can actually enjoy it. So, it is a single-player game, but you can play with other players. It's there's some cooperative elements where you can play with other players. There's PvP elements where you can go after other players. All of those are relevant. I'm not much of a PvPer. I prefer cooperative play because it is one of my better aptitudes of style that I think is more. I like to help my community. I don't like to stab them in the back. I think too many people do it. That's kind of nonsense, and I think it's not my thing. Now, when you die, you'll find that all the enemies in the area have respawned, and you basically can go about farming the same enemies again, which is kind of handy if you're looking for power. So we're going to have instances where we're going to take advantage of that and get the most out of it. So it was a great run. It was. I'm not terribly upset that I got killed, though, but I kind of, like I said, I haven't played this in a hot minute, so I'm kind of expecting it to get killed while my brain... It's one of those rules, you know, you play a game for a long time, you remember it pretty well. If you haven't played it for a long time, you gotta basically go through the measure of let your brain's wiring catch up, like, okay, I remember this part, I remember that part, and then the rest kind of just keeps up with you. The other thing that I want to stress is when you're doing strategy, you'll find that you don't really need to worry too much about getting the upper hand in a fight. Sometimes they give you the upper hand. If you break off combat for like maybe stepping back a second or what have you, they give a lot of their momentum away, and you can use their momentum against them. So like you saw back there with the guy with the wooden board shield, he really kind of gave himself away. And he just gave himself away. So I use a lot of their momentum against them. I just step back a second, they strike, they miss, they get nothing but wind, and then I hit them again. So, and that's really how I like to play, is I use the enemy's momentum against them. It's really easier that way. For me, I think it's easier. Before we go further along that way, I want to go back a little bit because there's something I think I got that I haven't really equipped yet. Okay, yep, there we go. This is what I need. Pebbles. Now pebbles are not necessarily very damaging in their own, but they're unique because you can distract enemies to come after you. So, like that. And this is really what you want to do. Get a small portion of them and get them to break away from the main force. And just take them out one by one by one. That's what you want to do. So with that, we're gonna head up this way. I didn't remember if I grabbed the pebbles or not, so I'm kind of glad I looked. Another visible attack. And that's really it is. It's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Oh my god, will you stop doing that? Ugh. What is that? The left touchpad. Test now. Okay, no, I gotta do something. I gotta change that. Probably change. Oh god, why do I keep doing that? I gotta switch it. I'll do conviction. There we go. I don't have to worry about doing that no more. Now, as you can see, that's another thing I wanted to point out. There is a mechanic in this game called Rally, and Rally basically is when you take damage, you see that there's a little bit of this red on the right side before it goes down. If you can hit an enemy after they hit you, if you can retaliate and hit them fast enough, you can get some of that health back when they hit you. So it's a very handy way of actually keeping your health up there. Obviously, there's not really a lot we can gain from that right now because we're still weak. But as our power increases, we'll be able to use the rally skill a lot more better, create opportunities to stay alive in really tight fights. So here we'll backstab him. Easy kill. Now we could drop down there and go over there, but I don't want to do that yet. And first thing is first. Another thing I want to say is when you die, you lose your blood echoes. Now, if you can find the enemy who has them and kill him, you'll get your blood echoes back. But if you die a second time, you'll lose your blood echoes together. I cannot stress how important it is. If you die, you do not die again until you get your echoes back. Because if you do, if you have, say, 500,000 blood echoes, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of, basically blood echoes is money. You use blood echoes to level up your character, to strengthen your weapons, to buy supplies, to purchase weapons, to purchase upgrades for your weapons, to purchase better gear. If I cannot stress, you don't want to lose as much of your blood echoes as you possibly can. You want to hold on to it as much as you can, because it is impossible to really get it back. So here we have this asshole with his rifle trying to shoot us again, now here's our guy with our blood echoes. We got our echoes back, good. Ooh! Yikes! That was close. Oh shit! Gotta be careful with the dogs. Dogs are really fast. That was close. Okay. We're okay now. Let's take a minute and get a sense of what's left. So we can see that there's a few of our targets. There's a few of them down there, so we're gonna take advantage of that. So we pretty much have accomplished that. He can't shoot us. Come on, buddy. Come get it. So once we have taken care of the dog, which is right here, the dog is probably besides the crowd, he's like a surprise threat. His aggression makes him dangerous, especially because you're overwhelmed with the enemies. So between the rifleman, the dog, and the crowd of enemies there were all potential implications of that to be had. So, but once you get behind the rifleman here, just go ahead and backstab him. And then we have that pretty much taken care of in that combine. So we get quicksilver bullets off the rifleman. You almost always get them. To do that jumping attack I just did there, you want to do forward on the left stick and the R2 button. That uses a big portion amount of stamina, as you can see. So I would only really advise doing that if you have a instant kill. So if your attack will kill them instantly, do it. If you don't think it'll kill them instantly, do not do it, because you'll leave yourself vulnerable to follow-up attacks, and you'll be out of stamina. So you won't be able to get away, because you use stamina to roll away. So it's a high-risk, high-reward move. Here in front of the gate, we have 2 blood vials, and behind that door is our next major threat, which we will go face now. So over here on the grass over here, you'll find Cold Blood Dew. Cold Blood Dew, you'll find other versions like this, which is basically blood echoes that you can crush and get easy blood echoes from. In this particular instance, we've got 350 echoes. Continue along this path through this archway, and over in this area you'll find a series of other items. Behind these barrels you'll find another bloodstone shard. Over here you will find another set of blood vials. And here you got women drunk and cackling.
I don't reckon you're from round here. Well, stuck outside on a night of the hunt. How you poor, poor thing.
What a rag. So, now down here, we're going to go down here, and over here on the right, we will find a troll. It's actually a person who's been turned into a monster, but I pretty much regard him as a troll because he looks like a troll. He's not really terribly difficult, but he can really kind of overwhelm you. Check the bodies, and you'll find 4 Molotovs on one body and a torch on the other. Torch will be handy because enemies, particular beasts, are actually vulnerable to fire. So you'll get very handy with fire and serrated weapons. So you'll find them very handy in this regard. Head over here to the back, and you'll find some giant anamorphous crows. Bash the coffins and you'll find oil urns. Oil urns will amplify the damage of your Molotovs and of any other particular fire attacks. And then over here, instead of going right to across the way like that was suggesting, we're going to smash this area for a hidden path. Down here, use your torch to kill the dogs. Or they can break out of their cages, like this one just did. This is particularly easier because, you know, as you use your weapons will take degradation and damage. So eventually you'll have to repair your weapons. Torch is not so much an issue. Over here, after you take down that dog, you'll find Cold Blood Dew. Yeah, I'm glad I changed that. Now I don't have to lose momentum. This dog is over here barking at this new resident. An old lady who's going to ask if...
You're a hunter, aren't you?
Here we go.
Then, well, if you once had got off your arse, it wouldn't be in this mess. You're obligated to help me, you hear? So what'll it be? Are you going to tell me? Yeah, you're good for nothing. No respect for the elderly is what that is. That lot of good you outsiders do. Go on, admit it. You won't go and stop it. I know all your tricks.
Now, there's not really much you can do at this point because you don't have any place for her to go yet. As the game progresses, you'll find one, and you can choose to send her either or. Depending on which will determine the story's outcome. So we will revisit that when we come back to it later. So instead, head back the way you came, but take a right and head up these stairs, and then into this other cavern. Follow these stairs up, find this body with Cold Blood Dew, then retreat back the way you came. At this point, we're going to use the Cold Blood Dew. And we're going to take a right, and down the stairs we're going to have 2 trolls. gonna try to get rid of this troll as fast as we can. There we go. And bang. 2 trolls down. Shining coins. And shining coins is a common thing you'll get from trolls. Now what coins do is basically if you get lost, I particularly like to use them in the Chalice dungeons, because it is very maze-like, very dark, very maze-like. You get very lost very easily down there, so I typically use them for players to find me if I need help. So I leave a coin trail so they can find me. Continue along the path. And I thought there would be something. It's probably further up. Have the stairs here, and you'll find something there. But first we gotta deal with this villager. And bang! Done. He's kaput. Grab the bloodstone shard here. And then we will open up the path to Gilbert, and another shortcut for us. But before we go any further, we're going to head back to the Hunter's Dream, and we're going to buy some much-needed upgrades. As we have plenty of blood echoes. We got like 5,000 blood echoes, which is more than what we need for what we are going to go buy. We cannot use the doll yet to upgrade our power, so we're going to head over here to this fountain over here and use blood echoes with the messengers to buy supplies for ourselves. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to buy a new outfit, the Yarnum Hunter outfit. So 500 for the hat, 1,000 for the coat, 500 for the gloves, and 500 for the trousers. We can also buy. I'll probably buy a few extra Molotovs, and probably buy. No, I'll buy 7. No, I'll buy 8. Yeah, no, 6. I'll buy 6 blood vials. Now, whatever surplus you have left will go to the storage unit. I will show you where to find the storage right now, in fact. So here is your storage. Now, basically, this is your present inventory. To access your storage, you want to press the R2 button, and you can access all items. You can get multiple items, you can get multiple weapons of different styles, but particularly I like to have one of each, more often than not. So in this particular instance, you can actually have more than one weapon of the same weapon. So if you decide to upgrade it and sort of do it differently in terms of your playstyle, different blood gems and what have you to make it powerful, you can store it here just for that particular reasoning. So if you particularly like to use a certain weapon, and this is for you, Lily, if you like one particular weapon, you can get the same weapon multiple playthroughs over and personally, tailor it up or tinker with it to make it how you like to play. So if you want, say, the threaded cane for sword play, or you want to make it more like a fire blade or empower it with a different thrust weapon attack, there's a lot of different ways. It's all creative on your part. However you want to make it, you can make it your own. You could have 5 different weapons of the same weapon with different specialties in mind, which is very handy for creative playthroughs. So now we're going to go ahead and take this outfit off. And this will give us added protection, as well as grander means of attack. So, I personally think it looks pretty dope as shit. Right down to the silver bullets dangling from his vest. So, pretty good. So, now that we got what we need, we're going to head back to Central Yarnum, which is the lamp outside of Gilbert's home. I'm not sure if this is recording to Twitch, but I will try to check that later. I need to learn more about Twitch. I haven't really had much time to experiment or practice with it as of yet. But now that we have what we need, we can proceed with the next stationary sequence of encounters. So we're going to head over here and deal with this guy again. For all new viewers, welcome. I appreciate you coming here. I hope this is everything that you are enjoying. I hope I'm not boring. I'm always so critical about my stream expertise because I'm not very good with it, so... Now inside this room, you're gonna find there's a sequence of like enemies. Obviously we can't go through this door on this side, so we need to open the other side. So, but before we do that, we're gonna head over here. This is now, if you remember, there was an old man in a wheelchair. This is kind of him, but it's also kind of not. But it is definitely a crazy one, as you can see. He's got a big, ugly pistol. If he hits us with that, that'll kill us instantly. So we're gonna put him down. Get some easy quicksilver. Get some pungent blood cocktail. Blood cocktails are handy for killing. Actually, they're actually handy for beasts. You can lure them to it because they are. It's like bait. That's what you would call it. It's bait. Over here, you'll find a note saying, "When the hunt began, the healing church left us, blocking the great bridge to Cathedral Ward, as old Yarnum burned to the ground that moonlit night." Another element of the story. The old town, old Yarnum was an old version of Yarnum's early infancy, and it burned to the ground because they were fucking around with the healing their blood ministration. What they didn't understand is that blood ministration was creating this disease, and rather than fix it, the church closed itself up and left the people to their fate. Pretty fucked up, but relevant to the story's arc of what you would get with you mess with things you don't understand. So with that, we're going to head back out the way we came, and we're going to kill those two trolls again. Smash me in the face with a fucking brick. So as you can see, we got the added benefit of strength with our weapon and our new skills, as well as the added strength of defenses with our new outfit. So certain outfits will do better than other outfits. This is a good outfit for starting players, and that's probably a good thing. So go back over this way, and you'll be able to open that door that was previously locked to us. Take the torch out so you can see what you're doing. And then we can actually go through with that. We got blood vials, and then the body here has cold blood dew. Now this next part is rather dangerous, so I'm going to try to do it. I would not caution new players to try this because this is not really going to probably go over well. But I'm feeling brave, so up here, after you kill this enemy, to your right, you're going to find two werewolves. Not exactly a very safe measure of strategy, but one that I'm going to try to take on because of the simple fact that I think I can do it. But one werewolf is bad enough. Taking on two is incredibly risky. Visceral attack. I do not recommend that. That was incredibly risky on my part. If you're a new player, I wouldn't recommend it. Grab the blood vials off them. And then we're going to head... This is actually where we actually... This stairwell that was actually collapsed and we cannot go down. Head further along the path. Keep your eyes open on the sides because there may be some, I'm not sure where the items are, but there are a few items here you can grab to help with your gameplay. First that is going to be probably over here. Nope, it's going to be over here. Yep, right there. Another bloodstone shard. Now we're going to head down these stairs. Little wolf howl in the background. Oh, I missed him. Grab the blood vials off of him, and be mindful because the troll will have heard the fight, and actually will come to check it out. If I'm lucky, I can sneak behind him and get him with a backstab. And he did. Yeah. Nice. So we actually got rid of the troll. Actually, this is actually the path that actually comes up from where we fought the troll, so kind of an opportunity to get some easy items there. Go over here, kill the pros again. And that'll be that. Once you come back up these stairs here, take a right. And on the other side of the gate, we saw this item earlier. You can grab it, now we can. We got Cold Blood Dew. Yep, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Wait till you see the other weapons. There's some pretty wild-ass weapons, and some of them actually would probably... I think you'll find another weapon that you definitely like. There's a few of them that I particularly like. The Moonlight Sword is one. The Church Pick is another. The Beast Cutter is one, but it's kind of... You know, the Simon Bowblade, that's another good one. So there's a few of them. You'll find a few that are probably going to be right up your alley. There's a few of them that are actually pretty wild in their tenacity. I mean, the Threaded Cane is a good starting one, but I mean, I will say that there is probably instances where it's probably one of the better ones that I would say most people still use, even long after they got the DLCs involved with the DLC content that's involved with this game. So, now, further ahead, we could probably go that way, but I'm actually going to go about a different way because there's actually another secret we can grab, and we're definitely going to see about going about grabbing that. So right now we're going to head back down this path. We just came this way. Oh, no, I certainly think co-op will be definitely something you want to get handy with, which we'll get our tools. You have to get specific tools for the co-op play. You have to get the beckoning bell, which enables you to call on other players to come join your game and help you, which you're definitely going to want to have that, but we'll get that later as we get into the game. Come down here, kill the dogs. Yeah, the beckoning bell, the small resonant bell, the sinister bell. The beckoning bell is a bell that basically enables you to call players. Of course, it costs you insight, so you need sort of like that currency that enables you to have knowledge. Insight, it costs 1 insight to summon players from other worlds, and it costs 1 insight. I don't think it costs any insight to join other players' worlds. So I could join your world, or you could join my world, and basically you'll be ported to their world. The only time it ends is if you die in their world. You don't lose any of your echoes, but if the player dies, you'll be sent back to your world by default, because you need the player's anchor to keep you in their world. So if they die, you get sent back to your world. But if you need help, you can call upon 2 players to help you at any given time. So in a sense, you would have a party of 3, a hunting party. I like the sound of that. So you really kind of hunt other monsters. So now in this one, we're going to have new enemies in the form of beast villagers. These guys are villagers that are turning into monsters, as you can see. And we're going to want to take our time with these guys because they are nasty. They can hurt you real bad. So, stun him. Pistol attack. Now, we got a bloodstone shard for him. Bloodstone shards are very common. You can farm this area for a lot of bloodstone shards to upgrade your weapons, which is good. But instead of going down the stairs, we're going to go over here to the left. Because there's actually a couple of items you can get, and there's actually a quest line you can start. So, as you can see, it's a pretty significant area. So we're going to head along this path here and get a few items. First thing we're going to grab is this cold blood dew. And then we're going to walk along this path. You can see these corpses here have something on them, but we can't get them, so we got to cut them down first. So get a good position. Make sure you don't fall. Try not to. Nerve-wracking. And you're going to walk across this beam. Slow, just very gently. You fall, you got to come all the way back up here again. And there's another one. Walk over the beam. And here's the other path. And you're going to follow this path up here to your new quest character, Aileen the Crow.
Oh. A hunter, are you? And an outsider? What a mess you've been caught up in. And tonight of all nights, here, to welcome the new hunter.
Bold hunter's mark.
Prepare yourself for the worst. There are no humans left. They're all flesh-hungry beasts now. Still lingering about? What's wrong? A hunter unnerved by a few beasts? No matter. Without fear in our hearts, we're little different from the beasts themselves.
You get a new emote, which is kind of, you get a lot of things the more you talk to them, and if you complete the quest line, sometimes you get their outfits, sometimes you get their weapons. It really depends on what you do, so it's important to do the quests to the most you can do. But again, we'll be doing multiple playthroughs, so there's multiple ways to complete the quest lines in particular. We'll explore that as we go further along with the game in repeat playthroughs, because we're going to play through this game a couple of times.
What are you still doing here? Enough trembling in your boots. A hunter must hunt.
You can use the stone. Yeah, you can upgrade your guns and your sword and your blade and your trick weapons with the bloodstones. The bloodstones are very important, but as you progress through the game, you'll start with bloodstone shards. Then you'll need twin bloodstone shards. Then you'll need bloodstone chunks. And then you'll need a solid bloodstone rock to upgrade your weapons. But the maximum power you'll get them to is 10. But the thing is the trick to getting the most out of your weapons lies in your stats. Which, when we get to the doll, that will give better instance of explanation. Because that can be kind of a bit confusing for players who don't know it. But if you've never played a Soulsborne game before, it's not very difficult to learn if you practice enough. So drop down here and just be very quiet walking over, and then you can backstab this guy. The ones with the spears are more aggressive. The ones with the cleavers, those are more easier. This one has a spear, so we want to get rid of him fast. Obviously, we got the attention of a rifleman, so we're going to take him out. But grab the quicksilver bullets off him. And then over here, we're going to have another one. This will be a cleaver one. We'll wait for him to walk past, and then we'll... He'll get some bloodstone on him. We're going to use our trick to get some more silver bullets out of that. Now, this next sequence is going to be kind of risky because you're going to have two riflemen, and you're going to have one of those blood-starved beast villagers rummaging around. So you want to get rid of the riflemen fast. That is absolutely important to get rid of them fast if you can. You can hear that son of a bitch. So we got rid of him, we got rid of him. We got another oil urn, which is good. Now we can get this. There's that other asshole. Come here, you fucker. More quicksilver bullets. And then over here, we're gonna go over here, we're gonna grab the Cold Blood 2, and then just proceed onward with the next sectional. Up here, you'll find a few crows, more easy echoes. You could use your torch to do this, but they're really not. The torch is not really effectively good for taking care of enemies like that, particularly. It does, but not nearly enough. So, but sometimes it kind of is good to use it. I like to use it only within reason. Else, I would put myself in considerable danger of getting messed up. Even the most and that's exactly why. Even the most small enemies can give you a headache with their damage. Here you'll find another oil urn, 2 more oil urns, and then over here on the beam you'll have something to grab. So we're gonna walk right off and land right on the beam. Walk across. Another bloodstone shard. Now we're gonna go back because if you remember those 2 bodies we chopped down from the rafters over the area, they will have dropped in this area over here, but we need to drop down into both sides because it's actually in the middle of a kind of drainage ditch. So we want to land on the right and then the left. You find some giant rats. These guys can be damaging if you don't. There we go. Now here on this weapon, we will have the saw spear. This is your next best serrated weapon. As the name says, it is essentially a weapon with a saw on it. It's also a spear. So, as you can see here, it really is kind of handy. I personally prefer using this for dealing with werewolves, beast patients, pretty much anything beast related as a good starting weapon. This is probably better than the threaded cane. You can actually equip this and you can just switch your other weapon with the right on the D-pad. So as you can see, it is pretty much a close quarter good saw weapon, but it also turns into a spear for good thrusting attacks and wide arc swings. I personally think this is better than the saw cleaver, and because the saw cleaver only does serrated damage in saw form instead of cleaver form. Saw spear does serrated damage despite its form. So as a spear or as a cleaver, it doesn't really matter. It does serrated damage to beasts in both respects. So if you're going to use a good saw weapon, this is good. If you like the threaded cane, you can stick with that. Me personally, I prefer this only because it is great for direct engagement with big monstrous enemies. So over here, we're going to take out these. Bam. 3 hits. Easy. And then here we have Madmen's Knowledge. Madmen's Knowledge is the equivalent of Insight. So once you get these, you want to use these right away. And as you can see up in the corner, the little eye symbol is your Insight. The higher your Insight, the more you can actually do. But it's important to have at least 1 Insight at all times because it'll enable you to have conversations with the doll and gain access to certain faculties that you otherwise wouldn't be able to use. Especially if it comes to upgrading your weapons and skill power. So, a few things we're going to change now while we have the opportunity is, first thing we're going to do is we're going to switch the journal, the Bold Hunter's Mark. Now, the important thing, and I stress this, is the Hunter's Mark you already get from the start of the game, but as the description says, sacrifice all your blood echoes and awaken anew. So what this essentially means is you can start over from the start. Good night, hon. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you checked it out. I hope to see you again. Have a good night. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Good night. Good. Sacrifice all blood echoes basically enables you to sort of get rid of all the echoes you've got and start alive again in the game. But you have no echoes. So this is only if you have 0 echoes in your inventory. Or you're okay with losing a few hundred of them. The Bold Hunter's Mark is much like the Hunter's Mark, except you burn the paper, which enables you to pour it away, and you don't lose your blood echoes. So here we're going to have it in the quick personal effects, just for that reason. Obviously, we'll use the beckoning bell, the small resonant bell. You know, a few of these things will all go up in this particular fashion, and that's initially what we're going to shoot for. Because it's pretty much, you know, it's a necessity in some cases. So, but once we have that Madman's Knowledge, we're going to head back to where we came, follow the drainage ditch, back the way to the ladder, climb the ladder again. And then once we get up to the top of the ladder, we're going to go ahead and drop down on the left side this time. If you can drop on something, it'll be great because that'll actually break your fall and you won't take as much damage in the fall. Sometimes rats will drop you throwing knives, which are kind of good to have if you're looking for something with long-range weapons. I mean, at best, it won't kill them, but it'll definitely piss them off. But it will give you some measure of attack while keeping your distance. And with that, we pretty much will have gotten everything we needed to down in this particular area. Now down there, we can go down there and grab some other stuff, but I'm going to not do that right now. Instead, I'm going to head up the ladder, which is actually a long way up. And once you get to the top, you're going to have a path to your left and your right. We're going to go right first, because we have more crows. Once we deal with the crows, over here on this body, you'll find another Madman's Knowledge. Go ahead and grab that and use that as well. Also, we'll use the Echo. We'll use the Cold Blood Dew Echoes we've acquired and get an additional 1,400, which will bring us up to 5,000. Over here, you'll have another encounter with a villager.
Wretched outsider, trying to fool me to open this door. Heavens, the depths of depravity.
Bitch. I swear, I don't feel bad for some of these fuckers, because, man, I'll tell you, they make them look, they sound like absolute tryhards. Over here, you'll find another troll. Go ahead and just finish him. Get 2 blood vials off him, and then climb up the ladder. And then we'll get our next quest line.
Who are you? I don't know your voice, but I know that smell. Are you a hunter? Please will you look for my mum? Daddy never came back from the hunt, and she went to find him, but now she's gone too. I'm all alone and scared. Really? Oh, thank you. My mum wears a red jeweled brooch. It's so big and beautiful. You won't miss it. Oh, I mustn't forget. If you find my mum, give her this music box. It plays one of Daddy's favourite songs. And when Daddy forgets us, we play it for him so he remembers. Mum's so silly running off without it.
Now this is going to be another quest line for the children of this household. It's one of my least favorite because I think it's so sad, but I won't give any spoilers. Pitiful, really? You're getting a foul one for that. That's sad. What a dickhead. Okay, that's suspected. That's fucking sus as shit right there. I'm definitely foul though. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's sus. Now, alright, now this is more like a treat small lady with care. I will. Now that we have our way in that regard with that sequence, we'll be able to proceed onward with our main due course of the game. So, head over here and head back along this path. And we will find a troll as well as several of these crows here. Dick, goodbye. Oh! Oh, that hurt. That hurt. I didn't think he was gonna kill me that easy. He just bricked my ass. I kind of deserved that. I got too cocky. So, as you can see, we died, and this is what happened. We ended up back in the Hunter stream. But now that we got insight, we actually have the doll to help us. But we don't have any echoes now. So here we have
Hello,
the
good hunter.
opportunity to get in touch with her.
I am a doll, here in this dream to look after you, honorable hunter. Pursue the echoes of blood, and I will channel them into your strength. You will hunt beasts, and I will be here for you to embolden your sickly spirit. Did you speak with Gehrman? He was a hunter long, long ago, but now serves only to advise them. He is obscure, unseen in the dreaming world. Still, he stays here, in this dream, such is his purpose. Ah, the little ones, inhabitants of the dream. They find hunters like yourself, worship and serve them. Speak words they do not. But still, aren't they sweet?
They look like fucking ghoulies. Yeah, they're sweet, alright.
Ah, they... Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
So once we've had the conversation with her, over here we will have a few things. We will have the beckoning bell and the silencing blank. Up here, we will also find the old hunter bell. And these will be relevant for the sequence of calling on AI players with the old Hunter Bell, so other enemy characters we encounter in the dream. And then over here at the top, we'll have this new bath open up to where we can buy more stuff. So in this instance, we're going to buy the small resonant bell, and we will buy the sinister bell, but not now, because I don't want to use up my insight, so we'll keep those handy. But now that we have what we need, we'll go ahead and put these things in order. So first thing we'll do is the beckoning bell. Then the third thing we'll do is the small resonant bell, and then we will do the silencing blank. And then finally we'll add the notes, because that will be handy for that particular instance. I put the sinister bell in there, but I'm not doing that because I'm not an asshole. I don't hunt players. I don't fight PvP. I don't like stabbing people in the back. I like helping them. I mean, if you're a competitive player, I don't have nothing against that. Everybody can be their own sort of dynamic, but me, I just prefer helping people. I think competition is just something that is great if it's healthy, but in all my years of playing online gaming, I've never encountered an instance of healthy competition. So, I don't know, maybe I'm cynical for that, but that's just my feeling on it, so. But we're gonna head back and get our shit back, because that was pretty messed up. So we're gonna go back and get our stuff back. Okay, so here we are again. We're gonna head back down this path here. Matter of fact, we're gonna use this to get some extra bullets, and we will go ahead and start working on getting some of these echoes back. Now, like I said, you're gonna probably want to farm this area a little bit more just to get yourself to a certain level of strength. It's entirely your prerogative on how you want to proceed with that. I particularly like to farm this a lot, so I will probably farm this for a good proportion of the time, off stream, in between sequences, to get myself to a certain level of strength. And I'm only going to do that because, one, it will enable me to get stronger and not have to grind this much time in between streams, which is kind of, you know, helpful. And then the second reason is basically just because I don't want to have the measure of actually grinding myself to the point where it's going to be like, oh, this is boring. Oh. Now, we could go ahead and go after them, but I'm not going to go mess with them. Oh, good. My blood echoes are right here. Awesome. I didn't have to go very far to get them. I thought the troll would have had them on him, but apparently not. Come on, asshole. There you go. That troll is down. So once we pretty much have that particular threat disabled, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves ready, because ahead of us is going to be our first boss fight. So, few things that we'll need for this fight will be the oil urns and the Molotovs, because these are relevant to defeating him relatively quickly. If you have the saw spear, great, it's good to have that equipped and ready for the first engagement. In certain instances, you want to avoid his right side. His right side, so your left. It's a big, huge arm, and that is going to be the one thing you're going to want to avoid, because it has got a huge reach, and it's obviously probably the hardest thing for him to hit. So if you can hug his left side, that's the best strategy to have. He is a beast, so he will be vulnerable to serrated weapons. He is also going to be vulnerable to fire. which is why you want to have the Molotov cocktails and use the oil urns to amplify the damage from the cocktails. And the rest is pretty much it. Try to go for overhead slamming strikes, so like that. Try to go for attacks like that, and then follow up like that. Because if you can hit his head enough times, you will actually be able to you'll stun him enough to where you can actually get up close and do a visceral attack on him, which will take a huge third of his health. So we're going to try to see if we can get lucky enough to do that. Proceed forward, and he will leap down over the wall. There's our boy. You're up, buddy. Correction, not his right side. Avoid his left side. His left side. Just like that. Head attack, visceral. Time your attacks. And that's it. Bang. And after you kill him, you get the Radiant Sword Hunter badge. Certain badges will give you access to certain weapons, as well as certain types of armor and gear. So once you had that, a new lantern will spawn on this bridge, which you can access, so it gives you another access point to the Hunter's Dream. Go over to his body and grab the Quicksilver bullets. Now, if you remember, Gilbert said that we could access the Healing Church through the main bridge to the Cathedral Ward, but unfortunately, that path is sealed, so we can't go this way. We're gonna head on back the way we came. First thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to take advantage of the opportunity to kill these werewolves again and get some easy echoes. Come on, boy. Get out of here. Bad dog. Now with that said, we're going to have all that measure of geckos. So we're gonna head back to Gilbert, which he will put us on the path to where we gotta go next.
Yes, I see. But the Great Bridge is the only way to the Cathedral Ward. And during the hunt, the bridge is closed. You could try the aqueduct. There's a rather, how shall I put it, colourful area south of the Great Bridge. From there, an aqueduct leads to the Cathedral Ward. Not a place you'd normally want to visit, but I don't imagine you have much of a choice, do you?
So we have a new area that we can go to, and that will be the aqueduct, which was the area we were actually navigating with the waterway and the spillway. So that's basically where we're going to go next. But before we do that, we're going to use our newfound power to get some power. Gotta find the doll, because the doll is missing. I think she's up there. You'll find the doll is pretty much all over the place in a few sequences, so you just gotta look for her. Here she is.
Welcome home, good hunt. What is it you...
So when you say channel blood echoes,
Very well.
this is what we'll do.
Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes.
So here we have the stats page. Now, the stats page correlates to these 6 stats: Vitality, Endurance, Strength, Skill, Blood Tinge, and Arcane. Now, Vitality correlates to the amount of health and HP, hit points that you can actually get. Endurance is obviously for the amount of stamina you can take. Health, Vitality, and Endurance tie to your overall physical... basically your physical resilience, your physical defense, and also it also ties to your slow poison resistance, your rapid poison resistance, your frenzy resistance, and your beasthood. Slow poison resistance correlates to the amount of damage slow poison can do to you. Fast poison is another form of poison, except it's a lot faster. Frenzy is a type of bizarre damage that you take from insanity, and apparently affects your blood in some way to where it actually it literally kills you with your blood. Not entirely sure, and I never have been sure how that works, but it involves magic to some extent. Strength correlates to the amount of damage taken with certain types of weapons. So the more stronger the weapon, the more damage it does. So it's basically skill-based weapons and strength-based weapons. I prefer skill-based weapons because it's a lot more fluid. Blood Tinge ties to guns, and certain weapons that are blood magic infused. So weapons like the samurai sword, I can't remember what it's called, as well as certain types of weapons that use blood tinge in their repertoire, such as the Simon Blowblade, the pistol sword, etc. And then there's also Arcane. Arcane, I guess you would say, is kind of an elemental kind of factor because it ties to your fire. It also ties to magic. So there's certain weapons that use arcane elements. So that's actually kind of important too. But it also makes you more resistant through Arcane. But we're going to go ahead and get with the most basic of stats. So we're going to do 3 for Endurance, 3 for Vitality, 12 for Skill, and 2 for Blood Tinge. But right now, that's a good amount of good spending, which I am not going to complain too much about.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your work.
We'll go ahead and take a look at our inventory and make sure we don't have any other things that we can use. Okay, so we're pretty much covered in that capacity. Down here, we'll go ahead and check the store now because we have some new items, courtesy of the Holy Blade medal we got. We have Antidote, which is good for countering poison. We also have Molotovs here we can buy now. Well, we had Molotovs in the beginning, I think, but yeah. We have Bold Hunter's Mark we can buy. We have a hand lantern, which goes on our belt. We also have the old Hunter Chief emblem, which will get us access to a gate. We'll buy that later. And we have the Kirk Hammer and the repeating pistol. These are very handy. The Kirk Hammer is great because it's got a very kind of solid blunt style kind of weaponry. I don't particularly like using it. I prefer, and I don't like using the repeating pistol. Repeating pistol is powerful, but it burns through Quicksilver bullets really fast. So we don't have any echoes to buy any of these right now because we just used them to upgrade our character. We'll revisit and get them later. But that being said, we're gonna head back the way we came, and instead of going to the Great Bridge, we're gonna go to the sick room again because I think we have means to access the next sequence of the quest line for Yosefka, which we will jump into here right now. So once we land, we're going to head back up the stairs like we did originally the first time, and speak with Yosefka.
You're safe, but I'm afraid nothing
Okay.
I'll do. Now go. I pray for your safety.
Okay, so we can't really access that particular quest line yet. I thought she gave me one already. Interesting. Unless I got another one. Interesting. Doesn't matter. We haven't accessed that. We have to progress with the story a little bit. Certain quest lines will not proceed accordingly unless you progress with the story. So we're going to need to play a little bit more of the main quest, of the main story, of the main game first before we continue with the quest line. So, but remember to revisit certain locations often so you can get the benefit of them. But that's okay because we're going to use the opportunity to get a couple more echoes.
This time's finished.
Actually, I think we're strong enough now that way we can actually kill this executioner. Because we haven't messed with this executioner since we started. Now this is a particular point where this would be handy of a blind spot. If this works, I'll leave a note. But I don't think it will. We'll see. It seems like it does. So we'll leave a note here. This will be a good example of an instance where you want to leave a note. Find backstabbing here. This is a good instance where stealth will be effective if you're lucky enough. Sometimes he won't see you, sometimes he will, but this is a good opportunity for me to get a good easy stealth attack on him if I'm lucky. Just like that. Yeah. And we got a blood gemstone. Awesome. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. Love it. So right now we're gonna head back up this way and go on with the next sequence. Now I'm gonna probably farm this area a bit more, but eventually I'll probably just stick with what I have been doing in that capacity and just go from there. But ultimately, that's pretty much what you want to do. You just want to get yourself strong enough to where you can go into the next area. If you go into the next area and you die a lot, you're probably not strong enough yet. So you want to go back to the previous area and just farm the hell out of it for blood echoes. Get as much power as you can until you feel like you're strong enough or you are strong enough to go into the next area. It's pretty much just that simple. It's not rocket science. If you're not ready for the next area, it's going to show because you're going to die a lot. But, you know, then again, I've had instances where there have been good instances where I have not been strong enough and I've managed to go into the next area and I've gotten through it easy enough. So, it all depends on the player. I'm gonna go with my threaded cane because I think it just does a better job. Come on, boy. Get used to that visceral attack, because I'm telling you right now, it is one of the best shit you can get good at. It's the best. Look at that. I literally had my back against the wall not 15-20 minutes ago, and then literally a couple of upgrades later and I'm already bodying the werewolves. Fucker. So with that pretty much being tackled in that regard, we're going to go back down this way because I think there was something I missed. I just didn't see it. Obviously the carts are still here. I think there was something behind one of these carts that I was supposed to grab and I just didn't think to grab it. I just want to be sure. I can't remember exactly, but better to check it yourself if you're in doubt, because then you don't have to worry about no mistakes of that nature. Alright, so it doesn't look like it, so I guess that's okay. Check over here as well. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because I'm always thinking there's actually something I'm missing. I'm always going to be, you know, did I miss this? Did I forget it? Where was it? Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go down that path, so we pretty much have been down there. We know what's down there. So what we are going to do is, before, like I said, we went down this path, and that's where the troll was, and that other hidden area that we didn't see. So instead, we're going to go down the right path, and this will take us to a new area that is cleverly hidden, but it also has a few secrets and a few items that you can find. So over here, before you go further, you'll find that there is actually some pebbles here we can get. You don't need to worry about those enemies down there. They can't come up. Over here, smash the boxes, grab the bloodstone shard. Then proceed along the path here. Smash those. Get another bloodstone shard. Be very careful because this has actually got a bit of a drop off. Now, the typical place you want to go is over here to climb down. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but it's handy in that regard. So, ascend the ladder. And down here, you will find another path over here. Drop down. And actually, you can actually go down a ladder, but I particularly like to take the drop down path because it's a lot more faster. Heal yourself. There will be 3 beast villagers down here. 2 with a cleaver and 1 with a spear. Get rid of the cleavers first. Like to soften them up a little bit because your visceral attack isn't strong enough to kill them outright yet. So you want to soften them up a little bit just to make them susceptible enough to a visceral attack. And then once you've taken care of them, you want to head over here and deal with Spear Boy. Pretty much that. Now, I'm not entirely sure if there's any bodies or items worthy of collection up here. I want to smash one just to be sure, because I can't remember. I think it's been like, I don't know, maybe a year or so since I played this. But I've literally got so many games to play. Demon Souls, Far Cry 4, 5, 6, Primal, Metro. I mean, just you know, it's amazing with how many games you have to play, both on 4 and 5, especially if we're talking digital upgrades that you get when you're like getting really good sales. You know, especially Christmas sales, Halloween sales, birthday sales, New Year sales. You know, drop down the beam and you'll get the thick cold blood. We'll head over here this way instead of that path. Get all these freaking rats. Another throwing knife, good. Use the same principle as before with the villagers. Lure them away in groups. If there's a big enough group, try to lure them away. Try to take them down 2 at a time, 3 at a time if you can. And then once you've dispatched all of them, proceed along the aqueduct's upper echelon here and proceed slow because there'll be another beast villager around the corner with a spear, which you don't want to get ambushed by because he will fucking hurt you. And bam, done. And then over here you'll find the body of this person and then a new outfit for a hunter. So we got the traditional hunter garb, which is not better. I mean, as you can see, depending on what your style is, you'll always take a bit of a trade-off depending on what you're wearing. I mean, you lose 30 points in terms of the blunt damage resist. You gain 30 points of blunt damage resistance, but you ultimately kind of, I guess, transpose that from a few other areas. So it's really kind of subjective, you know, depending on how you want to play. But it is pretty much the default looking weapon of option that is reputable for the game. I do think it's funny though, if you take the mask off, look how much blood is on my face. I look like I'm wearing war paint. So it's kind of cool. So once you have all that, you're going to head down here, slow. Drop down that beam, then this beam, and now you're down here with this corpse pile. I would use the spear, but in this instance, we're going to use the items in there. These guys are pretty weak, but in groups they can really overwhelm you if they surround you. So you want to just basically keep your distance and use your range of your benefit. The Molotovs do work in part, but not something I would depend on, because you want to save your Molotovs from real threats like werewolves and such. And there's going to be a beast coming up that we're going to need some Molotovs, so I probably shouldn't have used those, but I wanted to get to those groups pretty fast. So basically you want to just keep following this aqueduct. That's pretty much it. You just want to keep following this aqueduct. This is the aqueduct that Gilbert was talking about. So you're going to have like a few of these corpses in your path, as well as those crows on the beams trying to ambush you, if that's what they're trying to do. I can't really say. It's not much of an ambush. Oh. Fucking vicious. Alright, so that pretty much takes care of that. Now, further down this tunnel, obviously you'll see that giant, huge fucking pig. We do not want to take this path because he will charge us. Instead, we want to take the ladder, so go up. And we will have a brief moment. Instead of going further across the bridge, we're going to go ahead and take a left here and open up another path for a shortcut. So press on the step inside the elevator and the switch will activate, enabling you to get to the upper area. And here we will have an opportunity to get some more blood echoes. So more shining coins. So now that we have that pretty much organized in that capacity, we're going to head on over and get a couple more echoes for our needs. Just a little reserve. Because we need some supplies. We need to go back to the Hunter's Dream here for our next fight. We got a very short bit. The Cleric Beast is kind of an optional fight. We don't really have to fight the Cleric Beast, but it's a good starting point for you to get your your feet wet with a real boss encounter. What the hell is that? Oh, you guys. Sorry, buddy. Forgot about you. Night, night. Now, what we'll do is we'll head back to the way we came to Gilbert, to his lantern, because we need to go back to the Hunter's Dream. We need to buy a few things, and we need to get a few things from storage. So first things first, we're going to head up here to the storage, and we're going to get some of the Molotovs we got, that we purchased. We'll go ahead and take out, we'll take out 5, because we really won't need more than that. And that is what we'll basically go with for now. Over here, we'll head over here, and we will get also the... I don't want to buy the weapons yet, because we don't really have... We need to upgrade our weapons. I don't want to buy more weapons. We will buy the lantern, though, because that will be handy. So we'll go ahead and do some switch-ups here. Lantern... Pebbles, oil urns, Molotovs, Yusufka's blood, and we're going to need to equip the music box, because that's going to be handy for the next part of this fight that we're going to have to contend with. And we'll go ahead and use those, the thick cold blood echoes, 1500, and we're going to upgrade our weapon. Well, we don't really need to repair them yet, but we can repair them with blood echoes. So as you can see, we probably might want to repair the threaded cane, but we're not going to do that just yet. We don't really need to, but I am going to fortify them. I'm going to improve the power of my hunter pistol, and I'm going to improve the power of my saw spear and the threaded cane. And then we will pretty much have that in order to where we have a little bit of extra power in that capacity. What we have left, we will use to upgrade our stats.
Welcome home. What is it? Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me...
So we will go ahead and upgrade our blood tinge, and we will upgrade our well, we can't really upgrade our arcane. Damn, I thought we could. Okay, no big deal.
Farewell, may you...
And we'll go ahead and head up here, and we'll buy a couple of those little doodads with some insight, because we got some insight to spend. So we'll grab the sinister resonant bell. We're not going to use it, but just for the sake of saying we got it is, reason enough. And that's it. That's pretty much all we need. Now we're going to ready for our next sequence of the fight, which is everybody's... And this is actually kind of ironic, because actually I recalled now, one of the toughest boss fights for players on their first playthrough is Father Gascoigne. He is going to be the next person we're going to fight. So we're going to head to the central Yharnam. Oh. Head down the path leading to the elevator that we just recently unlocked.
Away!
It's coming back to me. My fluid action of fighting, it's coming back to me. I'm loving it. Slowly but surely. So once you've taken care of the trolls, take the elevator back down to the bridge. And then we're going to head across the bridge. Now there will be obviously a group of people at the end. They're going to immediately try to intercept us before we can get across the bridge. But the real important thing I want to draw your attention to is that big, huge ball at the end of the bridge. It's going to be something we're going to use. It's going to be a troll knocking it towards us. But the cool thing about it is it's going to be beneficial to us because we're going to use it to take out this group. We just got to cluster them again together enough to where they will have to give. And here it comes. Easy work. And with them dispatched, now we can continue on and take care of these other two. Which is what we're going to do. Get rid of the troll first. And with the troll dispatched, as well as his butt buddy who lit the ball on fire, we're going to head over to this ladder here, and we're going to slide down. Hold the circle button, and you can slide all the way down super fast. Once you get to the bottom, you remember that pig in the tunnel we saw? We're going to go real slow. We're going to sneak up behind them and get ourselves some bacon. Now, pigs are very susceptible to serrated weapons and fire. So we're going to just go like that and punch him in the ass. That was easy. Killing him, he'll drop 2 blood vials. Over here on the left, you'll find a hunter with a saw hunter badge. This will gain us access to saw-bladed weapons, like the saw cleaver, the saw spear, the threaded cane, and the blunderbuss, as well as a hunter pistol. So that's important to grab that. Grab the cold blood dew as well. That'll give us an added benefit of even more that we need. Proceed up the ladder again. Now, as you remember, the cathedral ward, the bridge to the cathedral ward up there, that is the way we went. That is where we fought the cleric beasts. We're not going to get in that way, so we're going to have to take this lower level path through cathedral ward's lower sanctum to get there. So, but we got to get through these enemies. Okay, now, here we will face Father Gascoigne. Now there's a few things that we need to discuss before we proceed forward with this fight. Sequencing of this fight is going to be divided into 2 departments. One is going to be his hunter sequence, and then the second half will be his beast sequence. Now, when he's in his hunter sequence, Gascoigne will play very aggressive. In a marginal degree when I say that. Aggressive in the sense where it's because it's within limits. He will attack you with a signature style blunderbuss like pistol and a hunter axe. He's incredibly powerful, but not really at a stage where he cannot be killed. This is pretty much the first stage. As the health progressively gets lower with him, the increase of his ferocity will increase. So the first stage, he will attack you with a sequence of jumping attacks with his hunter axe, as well as random shots with his blunderbuss pistol. Now you can parry him before he hits you with his axe attacks. The thing that needs to be mindful of, though, is when you use certain methods of the attack. I would not advise trying to counter him when he does an up sweep attack, because that tendedly is not really something you can parry. But if he does a jumping attack, you can parry it. If he does a regular axe swing, you can parry it. But it's kind of, I don't know, I have mixed results with my shooting and parrying him. Second part of the fight will be when he changes his tactics. He will not use just a single small hunter axe. He will use the double blade. He'll extend it and start doing really powerful sweeping arc attacks, which will knock you on your ass. And that can put you in danger, because he can follow up and actually kill you very easily with that. That's not including his still will relevantly use, despite having his axe extended, he'll still use regular shots with his blunderbuss pistol. The real hard part will be the third stage. The third stage, he will completely lose all manner of control, and he will immediately transform into a crazed, incredibly aggressive, really fast, beast-like version of himself. He will not have the axe, he will not have the pistol, but he will have huge jumping attacks and huge kicks, stomps, and slashes with his claws. This is the point where he can really kill a lot of players. I have been in games with 3 players at one time, and he has killed all of us. So the third stage is the most aggressive part of it. The things we will definitely need, and these will only be effective with his beast form. I stress this. Save the oil urns and your Molotovs for when he turns into a beast. When he turns into a beast, he will be very vulnerable to those. In his human form, he will not be vulnerable. You will actually waste precious resources trying to get them with him. So save these until he turns into a beast. And that's important. The other part of it is when you do switch weapons, use your saw spear, preferably, if you are confident in it. That's important. Use speed. When he turns into a beast, use serrated weapons. The threaded cane, transformed, or the saw spear. Those are the most important weapons to use. And then the most important part, and it's very key, is the tiny music box. Now, the tiny music box will stun him periodically. In the early stages of the fight, you can actually use the stun box 2 times to stun him, to get easy hits on him, especially if you want to do visceral attacks or backstabs. I would not caution using it beyond 3, because the faster you use the music box, he will transform into a beast far sooner. So, and that can be very bad if you're doing it too early in the first stage of the fight, because he will have a lot of health. And that will be a very difficult fight, because you will have to contend with his hyper-aggressive style of fighting as a beast, and he will have a proportionate amount of health to use that he will have to use in order to kill you, and it'll make the fight that much easier. I would recommend using the music box only 2 times. 2 times in the early stage of the fight. You can use it 1 final time in the beast fight, but after 3 times, the music box has no relevancy. It will not be suitable. It will not be workable. If you want, you can try to take him on in the early stages without using the music box, and you can use a lot of those 3 instances of using it to stun him for easy attacks at the 3rd and final stage. It's entirely in your prerogative how you want to do that. I will use it probably 1 time in the first stage of the fight to show its effects on him, and then I will probably use it again a second and only second time, not a 3rd time, but a 2nd time in the 3rd final stage of the fight. All of this being relevant, this is probably the best strategy to use. If you're a first-time player, your first playthrough will be the most difficult. Repeat playthroughs, it will be easier, because you will have access to better weapons, your stats will be higher, and your skills will be better, and you'll have a greater understanding of his style of fighting. So, that being said, I stress that importantly to not really get too far ahead of yourself. And again, like I said, this is a very tough guy. He will kill you easily, and before you even know what's happened. So do not get discouraged, not freak out, be patient. If he kills you, you're going to die a couple times. I'm almost certain of it. If you've never played this before, you're going to die a couple times. I know I certainly did when I started playing it. This is actually one of the toughest ones that you face initially, so it's no surprise if somebody does die a few times. So If you need help, back in Central Yarnum, where the troll was beating on the door, if you remember the location, there is a bell there. You can call on Gascoigne. I didn't use it because I didn't really need to use it to take on the Cleric Beast, but basically you can get a taste of his fighting style then and there. But in this particular instance, we're not going to have any backup. It's just us, and we're going to get this done. So immediately, let's go ahead and just get down to business with good old Mr. Gascoigne. He's a big fucker too. I mean, he's got to be like 7 feet tall, easy. He's just into his job a little too much.
Beasts all over the shop. You'll be one of them, sooner or later.
Gives me very Undertaker vibes. Oh boy. So here we go. So like I said, avoid that. That is not parryable in my opinion. There you go. First parry, and that's how you get him. There's his first music stun. An easy backstab.
What's that smell? The sweet blood.
Another backstab.
Oh, it seems to me it's enough to make a man sick.
And here we go. Beast time. Oof. Oof. You know what I mean? Oh, what? He jumped through the gate. That has never happened. He glitched through the gate. Wow. That is crazy, bro. What's the matter, Gascoigne? Are you mad? That is crazy. I have never had that happen. Oh, I gotta be careful. Even to the gate's fucking me up. Hit him. I wonder if I can hit him with my oil arrows. Got him. Okay. I know I said that is actually a very hard fight, and it really is. I don't know what the hell just happened there, but that was hilarious. I have never had him glitch through the gate like that, because that is actually where you're supposed to go after you kill him. So I'm a bit perplexed how that just happened. I mean, that was next level of crazy, because I've never had that. And all the times I've played this game, and all the times I've fought Gascoigne, I have never, ever seen that happen. That is the first time I'm seeing that happen. That is the first time I have ever had that happen. And that was actually a pretty easy fight. And it should have been. So I'm a bit perplexed by that. Yeah, I'm spellbound. I don't know how to explain that. That's never happened to me. I didn't even know that even could happen. So, but yeah, that was pretty much that. As soon as you, like I said, you get him down to a third of health, he turns to that crazed beast, and he's incredibly aggressive. As you can see, he nearly killed me a couple of times. And that's just for your first playthrough. So, but once you get through him, you get the Odin Chapel key. Now, there are a couple things that you probably want to know is that the little girl gave us a music box, if you remember the quest line, for her father. It's a favorite tune of his. So that was actually her father. Now, you're probably wondering, weren't we supposed to find her mother? Well, sadly, we do find her right over here on this rooftop, dead. So this poor girl has lost her mom, and pretty much that is the collectiveness of that situation, which is kind of fucked up. So after killing Gascoigne, we'll have to go back to the girl in terms with the quest line to finish it. But before we do that, we're gonna light this lantern here amongst all these bodies that Gascoigne was taking his sweet time, butchering, and light the way. Beyond that, there's really not much else, anything else in this area we need to grab. So we're gonna head up the steps where we were pursued by Gascoigne before he got trapped here. I still can't fucking believe that happened. So we used the Odin Chapel key, and that's kind of funny because he had the key on him. So he could have very well opened this gate up himself, but he was too fucking crazy to do it. So once we open the key, we're going to head through this passage here into this deep, area, I guess. And we're going to head up the ladder. I'm still kind of thinking about that. That was crazy. I've never had that happen. On the table here, we're going to find a note saying, "The Bergenworth spider hides all manner of rituals and keeps our lost master from us. A terrible shame. It makes my head shudder uncontrollably." Which is going to be kind of part of a story, because that will be our next destination, will be the Bergenworth School, the School of Bergenworth. And then over here, there'll be a chest. Open the chest up. And we will find a blood gem workshop tool, which will be handy for the future because we're going to use it to enhance our weapons with blood gems, which we'll get a lot of those in the Chalice dungeons, as well as a few that will be up in this other world of our place here in Yharnam. Head up the circular stairwell and head through the door. I love the architecture in this game. It's so good. It's just the very atmosphere alone is engaging. People love this kind of shit. I love this kind of shit. I think it's awesome. So as soon as you pretty much get control again, you'll find this little hermit over here on the floor. Now, he looks like a freak show, but is actually kind of the coolest people in the game, and I think he gets a bum rap for his reputation. But ironically, this is going to be one of the few places that people can come to with a sense of security, in the sense that they'll be safe here. So you'll find a lot of people that you find, you can send them to either Yosefka's clinic, who we'll go visit again, because now the next segment of her quest is open to us. But we'll be able to send them to Yosefka's clinic, or Odin Chapel, which is basically where we're at now. So go ahead and talk to him.
Oh, you must be a hunter. Very sorry. The incense must have masked your scent. Good, good. I've been waiting for one of your ilk. Been waiting for it to end. It always does. Always has, you know. Since forever. But it won't end nicely. Not this time. Even some folks hiding inside are going bad. The screams of women folk, the stench of blood, the snarls of beasts, none of them's too uncommon now. Yarnum's done for, I tell ya. But if you spot anyone with their wits about 'em, tell 'em about this here Odin Chapel. They'll be safe here. The incense wards off the beasts. Spread the word. Tell them to come on over. If you wouldn't mind. I know I shouldn't be asked. If you happen upon someone while hunt, if they seem worth... Oh, and I do sincerely hope they are.
It's actually pretty a sad character, but I kind of like him. So once you get through that little sequence, you're going to go ahead and light the lamp. And there's a few things we're going to do. First things first, we're going to go out here to this doorway here. And you'll find these church guardians, which ironically they're supposed to be protecting the church, but for whatever reason they seem to be engaging anyone and everyone. And I definitely got to say, I'm not really digging the Michael Myers mask. If you want to make a good impression of being, you know, friendly, I don't think the Michael Myers mask is a good way to start. Right away, get rid of the ravens here, and then go over here and you'll find another Madman's Knowledge, which we'll go ahead and use that along with the Cold Blood Dew. Head further up the path up here and you'll have some more of these creepy little church golems. Come on, boy. Come get it. Typically, you'll get quicksilver bullets off them. Typically. But then there's instances where you get other things from them too as well, so. Blood vials is an example, so. Over here, search the body, and you'll find a wooden shield. Now, this is handy. It's not really a great thing. I don't really particularly use it beyond a few instances, but the wooden shield basically is what it is. It is a shield. So, in some instances, it is good for defending against gunshots. I wouldn't exactly rely on it too much because it doesn't negate all the damage from the gunshot. But it is handy in the instance where it will definitely prevent you from taking the full blunt direct force of a shot, particularly from a rifle or somebody with a bazooka, which we'll have plenty of those later on. So this door here is sealed, but after a certain sequence of the game you'll be able to access it. Again, it depends on the playthroughs. If you do a certain way of going about it, that way will open up to you. Beyond that, I can't really say when. I need to really kind of get my head back into the game of discovering it. I haven't really done that yet, so hopefully it'll come to me when it comes to. So, but instead, when you go back through the chapel, go throughout the other way, and just go ahead and put him down. Then over here, you'll have some blood vials, and then you'll have another church giant. Not church giant, a church guardian. We will be facing another unique enemy that is a church giant, so you'll see that in a second, hence why I just made that reference. But there's actually a hidden force here that will kill you, so we want to be careful. We want to run over here and grab this item. Hunter outfit as well as a hat. There's actually a unique threat on the castle that is trying to grab you. That's what that black hole thing is right there, but we're not going to worry about that right now. But I will put on this top hat, give me a very Van Helsing kind of look going on, as well as this coat, which is the same coat as the hunter garb, except it doesn't have the water catch kind of thing. So, but it gives you an additional protection from frenzy and beasthood. So, definitely looking like Van Helsing now. Now is our church giant friend. Now, church giants are particularly weak to blunt weapons, but we don't really have a blunt weapon yet. We're going to get one eventually. I think we'll actually make that our next purchase will be the Kirk Hammer, because the Kirk Hammer is a good blunt weapon to do that with. This path is sealed. We need a special emblem, which is the handkerchief of the Master Hunter, to open this path, which we'll get the next time we go about it. So. Matter of fact, we're gonna make a return trip back and head to the Hunter's Dream, get on with the next sequence of quest lines. So head back the way you came, and we're actually gonna go make a few trips. So we're gonna head back to the Hunter's Dream, and we're gonna head back to Central Yarnum to get some of those quests going, because now we have access to the next stage of some of those quest lines. So as soon as we get here, we're gonna see that Doll is pretty much resting her eyes. Ignore her for now, and head up here and talk to Gehrman.
The moon is close. It will be a long hunt tonight. If the beasts loom large and threaten to crush your spirits, seek a holy chalice, as every hunter before you has. A holy chalice will reveal the tomb of the gods, where hunters partake in communion.
Oh. Bear with me a moment here. I'm getting my... Alright, there we go.
Most of the holy chalices lie deep within the tomb of the gods, and the few that found their way to the surface were lost again in the hands of men. But if the old hunter tales remain true, one of the holy chalices is worshipped in the valley hamlet. Yet the town is in disarray. It was burned and abandoned for fear of the scourge. Home now only to beasts. The perfect place for a hunter, wouldn't you say?
Now basically Gehrman is directing us to our next course, which is actually Old Yarnum. If you remember the quest, you remember the paper that was in that small building near where the trolls were, leading to the reward, that Old Yarnum was abandoned by the Healing Church. So one of the holy chalices for the Chalice Dungeons is there. So that is our next place we're going to stop at, because we're going to need to get more power. To get more power, we have to navigate the Chalice Dungeons. That is where we will find improved power for Blood Echoes, We will also find upgraded weapons. We will also find elements to access even harder and more rewarding chalice dungeons. And it also will point us in the direction of getting very powerful blood gemstones to improve our weapons and make us even more powerful. So it really hinders on power. Everything that you do in one form or another is to make you more and more stronger to get further into the game. So chalice dungeons will be our next bread and butter. I will do a few of them. I won't do a lot of them on stream because of the fact that they are so many and they are so repetitive. But that being said, that is where, if you're looking for power, that's where we want to go, is chalice dungeons. So right away, we're going to go ahead and go out here and get some of those new items. In particular, we've got Gascoigne's outfit we can purchase now, so go ahead and buy his outfit. Now, I don't particularly wear his outfit, but it is a good opening outfit for having defense against poison. But like I said, you could tell right away, it's got a very Undertaker from wrestling kind of feel to it. So, we are going to sell a couple things though. First thing we're going to do is we're going to sell the hunter gloves because we got 2 of them. We only need 1. And we're going to sell the hunter trousers because we only need 1. I'm not particular at keeping doubles of anything. I like to get rid of it if I can. I hate doubles. It's an OCD thing for me. And also, we're not going to get any blood echoes for the upgrading our weapons. We're going to actually we're going to buy some weapons that we need. So we're going to go ahead and buy. As you can see, we got a lot of access to do weapons now. So let's buy the saw cleaver. Let's buy the hunter axe. Let's buy the Kirk hammer. Let's buy the hunter blunderbuss. And that's pretty much it for now. We'll come back and we'll buy the repeating pistol. We'll come back and buy, I think we bought the Kirk hammer, and we'll buy the Hunter Chief Emblem. This will enable us to access the area further along in the Cathedral Ward. This will also give us an access point to the next sequence of the story's missions. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where we're going to go with that. We're going to head back and get the next sequence of the story going in the direction with the quest lines. And after I get the quest lines conducted and moved into the next stage of things, I'm going to head to Central Yarnum, and I'm going to stop the stream there because it's been almost 2.5 hours, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. I don't want to get too far in because I don't want to have a tremendously huge, prolonged stream time, and who knows when it's, connection. So I want to keep these sequences like anywhere between 2 hours and 30 minutes and 3 hours. So once you get to the sick room, head upstairs and engage with Yosefka.
Oh, well, hello. Splendid. Let me ask you a small kindness. You're soon off to hunt, I presume? Then, if you find any survivors, tell them to seek Yosefka's clinic. Upon my Hippocratic oath, if they are yet human, I will look after them. Perhaps even cure them. This sickness, these beasts, they are not to be feared. This time the night is long. I may be trapped here, but I should do something to help. I'll even offer a reward for your cooperation. Tempted? Well, off you go then.
Now, it's important to note the difference in her speech, and it's important to know that she's also holding a weapon. If you look closely in that small little broken window there, you can see she's holding a threaded cane. That is not Yosefka. That is actually a healing church zealot. I don't really know her name, but she is posing as Yosefka. So now she has access to Yosefka's clinic, and she's experimenting on the patients there. So we are basically going to be pitted to either send survivors, if we find any, where we find them. We will be pitted to send them either to the Cathedral Odin Chapel or Cathedral Ward. Obviously, that goes without saying that we will obviously not be sending this to Yosefka, at least not this playthrough. It's kind of relevant that we probably will be sending them to the other one, but it won't be in this playthrough. But we're basically going to cover every quest line and in every way it possibly could end in that particular fashion. So we're just going to go ahead and take advantage and get a couple more of these echoes. We're not going to hit every single enemy, just the ones in our path of where we're going, and then we're going to basically, you know, beat feet back to Odin Chapel. So the next stop will be Gilbert.
You needn't concern yourself with me. I'm afraid I'm of little help now. But before I take this...
We got a new weapon, the flame sprayer.
I made no use of it, but perhaps you. What afflicted me was incurable. But this town gave me hope. Their strange blood bought me time. I was most fortunate. Unharmed by the plague of beasts. I can even die human.
Pretty much, he's obviously not going to leave, so we're going to go ahead and proceed forward with our next trip. Make a quick little effort to get the hill. Now, when you talk to some of these people,
Are you that out? Well, sorry, but
they're pretty much the same, but as the sun goes down, which it's starting to, they'll get more and more unhinged. You'll see it firsthand once they get down to it. Motherfucker. Gonna piss me off. I bit off more than I could chew there. It's okay. I got you, cuz. I got you. I got too confident. That's okay. I'll take it. Now you pissed me off. Now I'm gonna go fuck him up. I got just the weapon for the job because, you know, I actually bought a few weapons. So, you know, I think it's time for me to explore some of that other alternatives. So, as you know, we use a lot of those threaded canes. We're gonna go ahead and switch it up. We're gonna go with the Hunter Cleaver, and we're gonna go with the Hunter Axe. And why not? We'll go with the Blunderbuss this time. There, now I look like Gascoigne. Of course, Gascoigne had a single shot Hunter Blunderbuss. I really liked his Blunderbuss more than our Blunderbuss. His was just, it operated like a pistol, but it fired like a Blunderbuss. Very unique. I wish they'd got hands on that, but, you know, hey, we got what we got. Hey, fucker. You're my goddamn echo back, asshole. I just love the way he brings that. He just winds that thing up. He just brings it right down his freaking head. So once we get the hunter, get those back, we'll go over here and we'll get this we'll get this this big fucker next. So we can do the stealth thing again. Yep. Bang, bang, bang. Alright, enough screwing around. Time to get back on task. So let's go back this way and head up the ladder to where Gilbert is, and we'll head to our next major exchange that we need to do. We need to get that old lady that we encountered that was real asshole-ish because we wouldn't tell her where to go. Well, now we got a place to go. As you can see, the Hunter Cleaver is really kind of handy, especially with its fast-reaching arch, so it's kind of good to have. So we're going to go ahead and just take advantage of this for a little while. I personally like the Hunter Cleaver more than the Saw Spear. The Saw Cleaver has more speed, but I think that's where the Saw Spear is kind of different to the Cleaver. Saw Spear is great in the sense where it's got that serrated damage, but the Cleaver's got more speed, so... Saw Spear is more applicable for the taking down of beasts, but I prefer the Saw Spear for that. The Cleaver, it has more speed. Intercepted me. Usually I could rush around that corner and just swing the thing and I'll catch him right on the spot, but in that particular instance I didn't. He actually intercepted me. So once you get to this point, knock on the door.
So what is it now? Are much better ways to pass the time.
I bet you do. Now you can, at this point you can tell her either or to go to. You can send her to, in this particular playthrough we're going to send her to Odin Chapel.
Yeah, what do you know? An outsider worth a lick of salt. Well, don't just stand there. Don't you have work to do? Go slit some throats. Get this mess done with.
Yeah, you bet, lady. And then pretty much from there, we're gonna head back the way we came. Oh, no, we can't go that way. Oops. Let me think. Yeah, but I don't really want to go through Central Yarn. I don't want to go through Central Yarnum again to get resources, to get through all those enemies. So we're gonna go upstairs, and we're gonna cut our way through the werewolves, because that's where we need to go. We need to go see that kid and tell her about her mom, and we tell her we can't find her mom. We'll take advantage of this opportunity and just get a couple more resources. Actually, this would be a good opportunity to switch up some resources here, because I'm going to show a few other little things that help us. So right away, we're going to use the blood. We're going to use the blood Molotov, the blood cocktail, and I'm going to show you how that really works. Basically, we're going to get the attention of these werewolves, and we're going to go ahead and get them to go over there for that. Shit, man. Dickhead. Come on. Obviously, we gotta go back around and go up, unless they come down here. And it doesn't look like they're coming down. Asshole. That was my fault. I should have been more mindful of my footing, because I didn't think that would be that close to the thing, but I didn't expect the other boy to come knocking me on my ass either, so... Fucker. Die. But pretty much that's what the blood cocktails do. I'm gonna change my clothes because I'm all covered in blood. You can actually get all the blood off you by changing your clothes like that, so... So with that being the case, we're gonna head over here and take out these enemies again. Oh no, you don't. And here comes the troll. Go ahead and finish him. Diamond coins. Goody. Head on down here, and we'll get a couple more with these crows here. And then pretty much I think we're in the right area for the, yep, little girl's quest line. Here we go. So once we get to this point, we're gonna go ahead and talk to her.
Hello, Mr. Hunter. Still can't find my mum.
Now, at this point, you can choose one or two options. You can give her the red jewel brooch, which we could do, but we're not going to, because once we get the blood gemstone, once we get the gemstones worked out, we can actually turn that brooch into a powerful gemstone. So we're gonna not give it to her.
Oh, okay. I can wait. But isn't there something I can do? Maybe Mum and Dad are stuck out there, waiting for me to come and find them. What do you think, Mr. Hunter?
No. You don't want her going out there, but tell her to go to Odin Chapel or Yusefka's clinic. Either or, it doesn't matter. Tell her to go to Odin Chapel. We'll use Odin Chapel as our default first run, so send her there.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. I love you almost as much as Mum and Dad. And Granddad.
And that will be set for the stage of the next sequence of the story arc for her. So we're going to head back the way we came now, and we're going to head over to the Cathedral Bridge, and we're going to use that lamp to get to the next section. And that will pretty much be setting ourselves into the next sequence of the quest line, but we'll pursue that quest line in the next stream playthrough. Right now, I will settle for buying the. I believe I bought. I don't think I bought the repeating pistol. I better. If you're not sure, check your inventory. Yeah, we didn't buy the repeating pistol, so we're gonna buy that next. And yeah, that'll be it. I'm definitely gonna change my outfit though, because I don't like dressing as some churchy type. So we're gonna put the old hunter outfit on. I will keep the Undertaker hat though, because I just think that looks swaggy as fuck. So, and we'll go ahead and improve our power.
Well, what is it? Very well. Let me.
So we'll improve arcane, and that's about as far as we can go with it. So, but that's okay because we need to save some of the echoes to get ourselves that Chief Hunter emblem to open up that gate. So
Over time, countless hunters have visited this stream. The graves here stand in their memory. It all seems so long ago now. Farewell, good may.
And with that said, we are going to call the ball on this whole little exchange. We don't really need much else beyond that, so we're just gonna go ahead and just call the, call it for what it is. So just go ahead and be extra and sit down and just chill out in that regard. So, but yeah, this is our first run, pretty much as a good opener for the beginning stages of the game of Bloodborne. Like I said, there's going to be more playthroughs of this. There's at least 3 playthroughs that I'm going to do the quest lines in the multitude of ways that can be done, to get the 3 endings that are in the game, and to basically sort of encapsulate the sense of everything that you could possibly find, do, and unlock. There's multiple ways to finishing this game and multiple ways of finishing some of the quest lines. Some are harder than others, and I will be exploring all of them. Including the DLC. I will probably save the DLC for last. I don't know entirely. I'm not sure about that because I got to progress a little bit more, but I will definitely be doing the DLC. Excuse me. Especially with the first playthrough. So I probably won't tackle the DLC until I get to the very, very near end of the game, because you have to really play through the main story to really appreciate it in a sense where it's actually viable to following on it, because it can be kind of convoluted and it can be a little bit confusing if you can't really wrap your head around it. I mean, to this day, I'm still confused about certain details of the story. So we will definitely explore that and come to I guess a better grounded understanding with the gravity of the story and its overall interpretation, because it has an interpretation that can be taken in about 10 different ways. And the few times that I was able to really understand it, it was kind of contradicted, because I actually go on like the Bloodborne Wikipedia or the Reddit forums, and I found out that the story wasn't really as it was. So I'm pretty pleased with this. Now I will probably play this a little bit more just to sort of polish up on my practices, because I am a bit rusty. It has been a while since I played this, and I will also probably explore the measures of getting more blood echoes and farming a little bit to the sense where I can actually get myself within a reasonable parallel of strength. However, I will not excel with any of the quests. I will not purchase any of the other additions. I mainly will just improve my stats and my power in that fashion of sorts, and including my weapons. So I will navigate that and pretty much go from there. Beyond the scope of that, that's pretty much it. So if you tuned in this far, thank you very much. I hope I continue to do more future content like this. This is probably going to be one of my longest ones, terribly overall, to the other ones that I have played. And there is my little fat bastard cat maniac. So I will be about in the future. I will probably stream again tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure when. I actually have a Christmas arrangement that I'm going to with my family. So all in all, I will definitely get around to doing this. I'm sorry it's been away so long. I know I'm shit with consistency. I am now on Twitch. I have not really gone about connecting my YouTube channel with my Twitch, because somebody told me you could do that, but I'm not entirely sure how that works. I'm still learning, and I will continue to still learn until I have a better understanding of it. So again, I don't stream for money. I'm not streaming for donations. I just do this because it's fun to me, and I hopefully can give educational balance to everything else. which brings me to my next point before I go, is the educational value of Grand Theft Auto. So I know a lot of you guys have checked out the video, particularly with the driving school, and as well as the patches of going about with the stadium event. I cannot thank you enough for that compliments and the likes and the comments for that, because it's been really fun. But I want to ask you, what do you think? Do you really want me to? I've actually known a lot of people to do a lot of struggling features with Grand Theft Auto. Certain missions in particular, Zero's Air Raid mission, the RC Car Zero mission, deconstruction for Grand Theft Auto Vice City. If there are any missions you guys are having a hard time with Grand Theft Auto as a whole, I will happily provide a means of playing that. Now, I have played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 5, and I have played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 4, but I have never really gone extensively deep into those games, because I kind of fell off with Grand Theft Auto after San Andreas, because I felt the series got too bloated, too busy, too much going on. You know, for me, I don't like games that are just terribly overwhelming in terms of content. It becomes a bit overwhelming. But I will do any other missions. If you have trouble with them, let me know in the comments section. Would you like me to do more playthroughs of Grand Theft Auto Vice City? Would you like me to do more videos of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? I know a lot of you have struggled with those particular games, and I'm happy to do them if you need help with them, because there's a few of them that I was very good at that I know a lot of people hated. I know one of them was definitely the deconstruction mission with Tommy Vercetti destroying that skyscraper with the RC helicopter. So let me know in the comment section. I will do more videos like them, because I know a lot of you guys struggle with them, and there are some things that some people need help with. I mean, it makes sense. So let me know, and I will definitely put them in the future for projects for me to do. But I'm going to get off here. It's 1:49. It's almost going to be 2 a.m. I need to get some sleep. I'm tired. And I will hopefully get back to this again tomorrow at some point. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this content, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them as best I can. And I will see you the next time for our continuing live stream playthrough of Bloodborne. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.